Hello everybody and welcome to another tournament bracket. And since I hate intros, here's Nux Taku.
Why thank you. I appreciate the honor of being able to do one of the intros. Well, in this lovely tournament bracket, we have three of us. Me, all day anime, mostly all day anime, and Anime Uproar, who happens to be here because we need a third guy. Lovely roasting you on someone else's channel. And today, we will be debating the greatest character in the 7 Deadly Sins.
You killed it, bro. You killed it. And yes, welcome Animac. We love you.
Yeah, man, you are really... You're lucky that I'm back here on your channel after the Margaret fiasco, but yes, glad to be here.
I wanted to
She's
do
not
that.
in the top 16.
Or is she? But anyway, let's just jump into the first round. We have Bon versus King. And yes, we're going to be debating who we think is our favorite character or the most well-written character. However, before we jump into the first round, today's video is sponsored by Kurtzpel. Kurtzpel is a third-person anime-inspired action-based game. The main appeals of this game are the PvP system where you can fight against other online players, including Deathmatch, Conquest, and Capture the Flag PvP. Or you can choose to party up and embark on a larger-than-life adventure in a raid-style, quest-driven battle system against big, badass bosses. And if that isn't enough incentive to check out this game in the description below for free, this game has an awesome character customization system. After you click the link down below, be sure to add it to your wish list via Steam. Not only would you be getting a great game, but you would be helping my channel and myself out in the process, and I really do appreciate it. But without any more delay, let's jump back into the video. Personally, I love both. However, I think Bon's like one of my favorite characters in all of the 7 Deadly Sins. I'll talk about it in a bit, but I want to pass it to the guests for this video.
Well, I personally definitely vote for Ban. I love Ban. Close to my heart character, very close. He's an epic dude. But I know he's probably gonna get snuffed out in this round, especially because of the epicness that happened in the manga recently. But King's a pretty dope character as well. Like, he's the shred of normalcy in the 7 Deadly Sins for, let's say, the first season where everyone was insane. And he was like the one guy that was looking at things rationally. I do like him a lot, but compared to Ban!
Yeah,
I feel bad for King.
I have to agree here. I like King. I think he's cool. I know he's really popular in Japan. Like, he won the popularity poll over there. But for me, I just actually made a video about why I love Bon and why he's such a great character. So to me, Bon is the favorite character in the entire 7 Deadly Sins. So I have to go with Bon.
Damn. All right, I think Bon's gonna go pretty far then. And I think it's interesting that King was the most popular character in Japan because, like, I like him, but he wouldn't really even make my top 3 or 4. On, like, I'm sure we'll talk about Bon in more detail in later rounds, but I just want to say everything from his abilities, his character design, and like his whole psychology, which we'll get into later, is absolutely amazing. Like, maybe they relate to King more in a way. Like I said, Bon's not really a relatable character for me, but I just like him overall. But anyway, let's jump into the next round. We have Howzer versus Gilthunder.
Two epic beasts that definitely, threw their weight around in this current manga arc.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to play a very important part in the final showdown of the entire series.
Yeah. To be fair, Howzer does have cooler hair than the Demon King, but aside from that, he, And Gilthunder does have an indestructible chair. Indestructible chair of Gilthunder.
Good.
Correct. Howzer
so we have cool hair versus a chair.
Howzer is funnier. Gilthunder is like cool, and Gilthunder in the abridged is the best, but I think Howzer.
How dare you insult Elizabeth in the abridged?
No, Elizabeth.
I'm kidding.
Gilthunder. But yeah, I have to go for Howzer.
By the way, in the abridged, did you see the random one-off episode where he like took down a whole enemy nation?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Man, I'm surprised Animac voted for Howzer. I thought he was a Gilthunder like fangirl.
Well,
no.
He knows Gilthunder doesn't have a whammon that deserves him, right?
Ooh.
Howzer is funnier.
Howzer is funnier. I personally also go for Howzer. He is funnier.
And
he's
my
more
vote
of a...
doesn't matter.
Well, but vote anyway.
I literally don't care about this round. They're so irrelevant.
Oh my God.
Alright, I'll vote for Howzer just to be in the
loop. Yeah,
loop.
there we go.
He has cool hair.
Yeah, he'll fight against Bon in the next round.
And the next round, which I care about so much more, we have Monspiet versus Derieri. What a tragic matchup for a tragic couple.
Yeah, I don't know why you would put them against each other.
I know exactly who would put them against each other.
Nux Taku totally didn't make this bracket.
Nux made the bracket. Oh, of course, that makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
I mean,
Monspiet is cool. Like I sympathize with him, but Derieri is the hottest girl in the entire series, man. Have you seen some of those manga panels? Have you seen her fight with Meliodas, bro?
So what you're saying is we have someone who is constantly clickbait, constantly like waifu or constantly naked versus a cool mustache.
Damn it, you mentioned the mustache. I am now torn.
Naked waifu. Naked waifu for sure.
I'm a man of culture. Like I appreciate like the fact that she literally wears nothing all series, but I also appreciate a good stash.
And that is a pretty good stash.
And their relationship though is actually amazing. Like,
yo, I was rewatching that fight with Meliodas and Derieri the other day, and like it was good action, and I was turned on, so I can't not go for Derieri.
So you're saying your dick was hard for 2 reasons, not only one.
Precisely.
Very cool. I would also go for Derieri, but having nothing to do with the fact that she's naked, I think she's a more interesting character.
I know, yeah, actually, to be fair, like we're being pretty misleading when we say, oh, she's just a naked waifu, because she has a really cool backstory. She develops as a character a lot. The way she changes her mind about humans is really good. So she is a good character overall.
I'm gonna, even though my vote doesn't matter, yet again, I'm gonna vote for Monspiet this time. Just because I feel for the dude. Okay, besides that, like he definitely has a cool character design. I feel like his abilities and powers are good. Like I did not think he was gonna be as powerful as he was. And on top of that, just like, I don't know, I feel for him. I feel like I wanted him to end up like being with Derieri. You could tell that he loved her, even though Derieri couldn't see it. It was a pretty tragic relationship, and I feel for my man, and he has a stash. So obviously the stash puts it over. I'm gonna vote for him, even though it doesn't matter.
He also looks like a flamboyant demon magician.
That
sounds like my cup of tea.
Hell yeah.
In the next round, still the first round, but the next matchup is Escanor, praise the fucking sun, versus Gowther. And honestly, just get absolutely fucked, Gowther. Escanor wins.
Yeah, but listen, I would say that a lot of people really love Gowther. Like, they really like him. I just, speaking based on like comments and stuff that I see on videos, people really like him and relate to him, I guess, to his kind of antisocialness and his inability to understand emotions. But definitely for me, it's Escanor. But I definitely will also say that a lot of people do like Gowther a lot.
I feel like I've never really been like such a big fan of Gowther. Maybe that's a similar reason to why people like related to King. Like I feel like he's a shy guy. Maybe going like wasn't really noticed compared to the other sins, or like his love wasn't being reciprocated by Diane in the beginning. So maybe people related to that and were able to like Gowther and King for those reasons. But for me, I remember reading the manga, and Escanor's introduction was great, but then his fight versus Estarossa, just reading it, I had goosebumps, and I think that's still one of my favorite like manga panels of all time. Just seeing him look down on Estarossa and being like, "That is my sin," or like, oh, "How is this guy not affected?" Please, why would I be affected by someone beneath me?
I don't hate people below me. I merely pity them. Escanor
he has so many good quotes.
He does.
Don't forget,
all of his quotes are good quotes, man.
Don't forget also Gowther's side story backstory. That was powerful.
It actually is a really, really good backstory.
As far as characters, I also like Gowther, but like Escanor, I mean, Escanor, Gowther, aside from being a hype badass, I think is a dope character.
Well,
I love the duality, and I'm also really rooting for him to hook up with Merlin. Like, really.
Yeah.
So
we need Arthur to wake up and cuck Escanor, and that'll be it.
Although preferably Escanor will hook up with her in her like adult form.
But of course.
Yes, well, of course. YouTube wouldn't appreciate the other way.
I want to take back what I said about Gowther. I feel like I wasn't a big fan in like the first season, but as I read more of the manga, I ended up like he grew on me, especially when we got to like hear his backstory and how he got his sin.
Well, you're welcome for opening your eyes.
Thank you, Animac. Very cool.
Yeah.
Also, another really good line from Escanor. Isn't it like, kings are as plentiful as grain of sands?
Yeah, that's in the
but I stand above them all, or something like that. So good.
Yeah.
Anyway, this next matchup is fucking hard. Zeldris versus Mael or Mael. How do you guys pronounce it?
Mael. I
Mael.
go for Mael easily, 100%. I love him. Top 5 characters in the series. Not gonna say more. On to you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
same
don't want to
here.
spoil either.
Same here, man. He's definitely my top 5, probably top 4, maybe top 3. I don't know, but the whole progression, obviously not taking Mael as just Mael, but the whole character.
Yeah.
Really cool evolution, progression. You know, one of the best villains and one of the best characters, 100%.
I actually got spoiled for this. Obviously we're not going to go into details, but that's why I ended up like starting reading the manga again and got caught up to like the end of that part. So I'm pretty close. Like I'm not that far behind actually. But yeah, no, 100%. We're gonna vote for the male.
Mael.
There are only 2 genders,
like-
Mael and male.
It's like
Oh my God.
it's like Gabriel, but Mael, you know.
Dude, we need him to hook up with a female, huh?
Oh. Well, guess what? The next round, Hawk versus Elizabeth. I feel like people would get upset if I didn't put Elizabeth.
We
in
were
this
gonna
bracket.
put Margaret instead of Hawk, but then we realized the swine was a legit better waifu.
Also a dude, by the way, and still a better waifu.
Yes.
Just to also be fair to Zeldris, Zeldris has been developing lately, and he is also a cool character, but hasn't had as much development as Mael, obviously. In terms of Hawk and Elizabeth, I'm not a huge fan of Elizabeth. Like, she does have an interesting backstory, but she is just, you know, a goody two-shoes character. She's very one-dimensional in that sense. She's not bad. She's a good person, all that good stuff. She's important in terms of her powers, but I...
My name is Elizabeth!
Yeah, Nux, thank you. I didn't hear that often enough while watching the abridged. But no, I'm going for Hawk. I think Hawk is funny. I know some people don't like him, but I think Hawk is hilarious. He might be the strongest of them all.
I mean, until the whole backstory with Meliodas.
We
and
already have
Elizabeth-
one that stands above them all, and that's Tortwigo.
I thought you were going to say Escanor. Wow. Well, clearly Escanor is just Lord Twigo in disguise anyway.
How dare you? He is merely a disciple of Lord Twigo. To Lord Twigo, Escanors are plentiful as grains of sand.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
in regards to Hawk and Elizabeth, I feel like until the backstory with Elizabeth, I could have done with the Seven Deadly Sins without either character. Very easily, I don't really care for either of them that much. I think Hawk's a little bit funny, so like Elizabeth was just annoying in the beginning. Sir Meliodas, oh please help me. But then later on, when we get the whole backstory, I start to like Elizabeth more, so I'm going to have to vote for Elizabeth this time around.
Briggs, can we get a whole ASMR video where you just impersonate Elizabeth?
Sir Meliodas, please.
Please don't accidentally touch my breast. Oh.
Oh no, stop. Meliodas, con.
Well, new ringtone, guys.
I have to say, my favorite part of Hawk in the entire series is the fact that Bond calls him Master. I think that's hilarious.
That's good.
But
yeah, but that
aside
just
from
makes
that,
Bond even cooler.
exactly. That just makes Bond cooler. This is actually the hardest matchup on the entire bracket so far. Because I don't like either of them.
Dude, I'm telling you. Like,
I think
the
I'm gonna go
series
with Hawk,
didn't need
though.
either of them until
Yes.
the backstory comes in.
It's too late, Briggs. He said Hawk. It's too
I'm
late.
going Hawk.
No, I said Elizabeth.
I said Hawk.
Oh, you said Hawk.
Yeah,
And
it's over.
Animac, you voted Hawk?
Hawk.
I hope the pig wins it all.
Elizabeth was beaten by a pig.
Get wrecked. Oh man, people are
And
gonna be
Margaret
pissed in the
didn't even
comments.
make it here. All right, comment section.
And next up, we have Merlin versus Diane. And this isn't even a matchup if you've seen my 7 Deadly Sins bracket where Animac gets trolled hard. For me, in my opinion, Merlin is a very strong, independent woman. She is smart, one of the smartest in the series, one of the strongest in the series. I don't know how I could even give it to Diane, the serpent sin of envy. No one likes a jealous girl. Get wrecked. I vote for Merlin.
Briggs.
Well said.
You know, going into these, you should be more objective, first of all. Second of all, I didn't get trolled in your best girl video. The truth got trolled in your best girl video.
Nah, dude, I saw that video. You got trolled hard.
You got trolled pretty hard,
yeah.
bro.
Don't make it out of that one.
Point is, are we talking about who is best girl here or best character overall?
character.
Both go to Merlin.
But both go to Merlin.
Wow,
I don't know.
look at that, Nux.
I feel like you are underrating Diane. I think she is an interesting character. She does have an interesting backstory. She does develop.
Yeah.
She hasn't been having the spotlight lately in the manga.
Hasn't been having the spotlight. Every Sin has a power level of over like 200,000, and she's like, I have 8,000, but when I dance, it doubles.
Well, Gowther hasn't really been that powerful either, to be honest.
Like,
Yeah, but Gowther had like this epic evil plan backstory thing, and Diane was just like, ooh, I can dance and become stronger.
Fine.
So-
I'd probably also vote for Merlin, but I just don't like you guys underrating Diane like this.
well, I get it. Like, at the
Well,
end of the day,
comparing
all
the
the
two
sins are
characters,
great.
man.
All of the 7 deadly sins are great. That's why I like to make fun of Hawk and Elizabeth. They're not like sins, but all the sins themselves are amazing and are well developed in their own right.
But
And
who
Who
I
is
feel
more
like,
developed, literally, than Diane?
pardon?
Who is literally more developed than Diane?
Bon,
Bond, Meliodas.
Meliodas.
Guys, I said literally.
Oh. No.
Oh.
Get rid.
well,
Derieri. Okay, never mind.
uh,
Not in sheer girth, but in like proportions.
a lot of people get triggered because like I go hard on like a character that I like in these brackets, and I'll like not give the other person the time of day as much. But I do like Diane. Like my main character bracket is my most disliked video on the channel, and doesn't even have like that much views.
Well, I don't like Diane, and I don't mind saying it. I've said it before. She's
Well,
my
she
least
doesn't
favorite
get
character.
nearly as much spotlight, and like you said, like she's kind of useless for majority of the series,
What?
especially if you read the
Shonen women
manga.
useless? I will never hear of this again.
Well, I mean, Merlin's not useless.
I know, she's above and beyond Shonen women with infinite potential.
Yes, kind of like her ability, Infinity. Next
Whoa.
round.
Yeah.
Next meme. Meliodas versus Margaret. Meliodas versus Arthur.
Oh, so close. Oh, Animac. Too bad we didn't have Margaret on the bracket. We lost Animac.
Wait, what did he say?
Nothing. Nothing. Oh
It's
my
Margaret
God.
versus Margaret, and neither of them advance.
Oh, great.
Next round. Meliodas versus Arthur.
Oh, come on, man.
I feel bad for Arthur, but I just wanted to include him. I didn't know who to put up against
Like,
Meliodas.
Arthur is just a startup, you know, he's a newbie, and Meliodas is a 4,000-year-old badass demon that we all love.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, Animac, I don't like hearing you disrespecting Arthur. Wow, I didn't think you'd be so one-sided and not objective on this bracket. So I personally really liked Arthur. I thought he was an incredibly cool character. And with development, a lot of development, he could potentially beat Meliodas. I do think he has the solid background for an amazing character. I just don't feel like he was flushed out enough. With that said, I do vote for Meliodas, but I also really, really like Arthur a lot more than Diane.
I do think Arthur has potential, but I mean, you can't compare the character we know the best with the character we know very little about.
Oh, yeah. I agree. It would be kind of cool to have like a spin-off with Arthur as the main character and kind of see
Yeah.
his journey.
Yeah, right?
I'd love to see that, especially since like obviously he's based off of Arthur from a Arthurian legend, so that'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
But yeah, Meliodas obviously advances. GG no re. I have to figure out what's advanced. I don't have a cool bracket set up. I just have a list of
We have
characters.
Bon versus Howzer. And that's just from memory, ladies and gentlemen.
Well done.
Bond, for me, his development has been just amazing. We know his backstory from when he was a kid and what kind of tough childhood he had. It made me shed manly tears, man. And then how he builds the relationship with Zhivago, and then he loses touch with him, and then he becomes this bandit. But then we know, despite of all the hardship he went through, we know that he's still a good person on the inside, because when he meets Elaine and falls in love with her, he gives up on the fountain, and then he faces this tragedy and he becomes this drunk, depressed, masochist guy. But then he still is able to, you know, make friends with the 7 deadly sins and with my boy Hawk, and like just so much development. And then as the story goes on in the manga and stuff, it gets even better. So Bon all the way.
Yeah, this is kind of an unfair matchup, but I'm gonna have to vote for Bond as well, 120%. Like you said, like he made a. I highly recommend you go watch Nux's video. I had the pleasure of editing it, and he goes into great detail about how deep of a character Bond is. Even though on the exterior he looks like this fun, cheerful dude, or like when he's being a masochist, but like he's kind of playing a role, and he really is a deep character, and I love his relationship with Elaine and everything he's doing to like try to revive the love of his life. He's an amazing character.
No, yeah, that all stands, but you don't respect Jericho enough.
Well, she's literally the worst girl.
Who's Jericho?
If you want to respect Bon and Elaine, you don't respect Jericho.
I 100% respect Jericho, bro. And
This is the man that respects Margaret. His choice is invalid.
me, Bon is manly enough to handle 2 waifus. Thank you very much.
So you're saying you like cucks?
What do you mean cucks, bro? Bon, I'm saying Bon should be a boss with 2 sister wives.
I mean, I'm okay with that, but it doesn't mean that I like the second sister wife, especially when she sucks. She could literally not be in the story and nothing changes. You realize that?
Bro, she saved Bon and Elaine's lives, so...
Ooh, she carried them that one she has one cool scene in the entire show.
Dude, I love that scene, okay? You have Galand chucking those big rocks, and, like, she's like, I will deflect one of them.
Guess what?
Gets
Nothing
beaten.
would have happened because Bond's still immortal.
And Elaine was dead.
Elaine was already dead.
Low-key, that didn't help anything.
Other
No,
than
it's-
taking the
it's
soul, that's
not
the only
true
thing.
Because they can eat souls, so even
Yeah.
if Bond's body would have been okay, he would have been an empty shell. So get wrecked, admit that you're wrong.
I don't know. If this whole fight would have, let's say, happened right outside of Escanor's tavern, essentially you didn't need Jericho.
Okay, but also, doesn't Bond like regenerate pretty fast? Like, couldn't like after 20 seconds him just like walk? I was watching that scene. I'm like, I don't understand how he's still like so like.
Because he lost
fatigued.
his soul, and that's a different type of injury, I guess.
It could also be the snatch. Like after he uses snatch, I feel like his body's kind of like immobile. But I'm like, it doesn't really make sense because he's fucking immortal and he regenerates from like getting blown up.
Yeah, see, Bond loves Snatch, so he can easily handle 2 waifus.
Wow. Wow. Nice. All right, I think that's a
By
good
the way,
segue to
speaking
next
of
round.
Snatch, that was a pretty epic line in the last One Piece chapter, where she was telling Momonosuke he can't say the word snatch. Anyway, just had to do a One Piece reference, sorry.
Yes, well
Yeah,
done.
I
Well
don't
done.
care enough.
By the way, Oh Robin went hard.
Yeah.
But I didn't even announce the round, but that was Bond versus Howzer.
We didn't talk about Howzer. I was gonna totally go for Howzer.
Too bad. I believe you. I totally believe you, dude.
Okay, fine.
Derieri versus Escanor. Oh my god. We have like one of the best girls in the series versus the
One of the
best
best
boy
boys.
of all time.
Oh my god. Not pulling any blows here, are you?
New.
I vote for Escanor, even though I love Derieri.
Yeah, as a character, we've seen more of Escanor. Derieri has been very, brief, but in the sense that Escanor, I would agree, is a disciple of Lord Twigo. I feel like the mustache was a direct inspiration from Lord Twigo, so I have to respect Escanor.
Thank you, Animac. Very cool. I'm also going to vote for Escanor. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire series. I don't want to I usually say who's my favorite and second favorite, but I don't want to spoil this bracket. So Escanor definitely advances. So we have Bond and Escanor moving to the next round. But going to the other side of the bracket, it looks like we have Mael versus Hawk. God damn.
Mael versus Hawk. What will we do? The indecisiveness. I vote for Mael, who just barely beats Hawk.
I
Personally.
vote for Hawk because it reminds me of Hawkeye, Mihawk
Hey. Ooh, One Piece reference. Very cool.
from One Piece. No, I'm voting for Mael. What am I saying?
Oh.
I'm just saying we're never going to do any of these brackets again on Rank Cafe if you do what you did last time and try to bring up One Piece at every single match.
You challenged me, dude. You
your
challenged
Okay,
me.
well, that was the first and last time. I also vote for Mael. I think he's a great character. I don't dislike Hawk, though. I think Hawk is hilarious. And I think he's going to see more development by the time
I
the
know,
story
that's what
ends.
frightens me. What if he sees
I
more
love the
development?
fact that Hawk is actually ends up getting strong when he eats stuff. It's a cool little aspect to his character. He's more useful than Diane.
He is.
All right, next round we have Merlin versus Meliodas.
Meliodas.
Meliodas. Wow, Animac, you're just insulting Merlin.
No,
Well,
we
I'm
already
gonna vote for Merlin
we already
anyway
mentioned
because I'm a
that Merlin
fanboy.
is a cool character.
You're really voting for Merlin?
Well, my vote doesn't matter, and I would have 100% voted for Meliodas. But Merlin gets a vote from me because she deserves it.
Oh, that's fair.
Merlin is cool. She's like a mad scientist
Son of a bitch.
with all these secrets that no one knows about. She has these powers that are really incredible. But I mean, Meliodas is just such a great character. He starts off as this lighthearted, almost comedy guy, but you realize how deep like his emotions go and everything he's been through, and it's so good. And Meliodas is just such a likable and deep character at the same time.
Nicely put.
Well
You
done.
moved me.
I think I shed a tear there, Animac.
Thank you.
Next round. Oh my god, this is gonna be so hard. These are two of my favorite characters in the entire series. We
Oh,
have
no.
Bon versus
that-
Escanor.
Oh my god.
My soul is literally being torn out from me.
Kind of
Too
like
bad Escanor's can't, but it's so
kind
hard.
of like when Melaskala tore out Bon's soul and he was saved by Jericho.
I was thinking kind of.
No,
like
he was
the
saved by the what's it called, like his childhood fucking raccoon.
Disrespecting Bon here. Saved by his childhood raccoon.
What was the person's name? I'm so bad with names.
Zivago.
Shivago. Okay,
And it was like his stepfather.
that was a very like heartwarming scene.
Anywho, I vote for Bon because Bon is more developed so far than Escanor. We've seen both of them have really cool backstories. Both of them have grown, but I feel like Escanor hasn't just developed as thoroughly as Bon. Like because obviously Bon has been introduced long ago, and we know him from when he's growing up. We know how he struggled with all these things. We know how that, the 7 deadly sins kind of gave him another purpose in life. Then he's faced with this dilemma that are you going to kill your best friend to bring back the woman you love, the woman that you blame yourself because she died because you didn't know that the demon had multiple hearts and she saved your life and died because of it. And he has this like tortured, inner conflict. He decides to try to kill Meliodas, then regrets it, and he doesn't know what to do. And then he comes full circle. He actually goes from trying to kill Meliodas to save Elaine to deciding to abandon Elaine and everyone else, perhaps forever, because he doesn't know what's going to happen, to go into purgatory to save his best friend, to make amends. Oh, so good.
Yeah. I feel like Escanor has some really, really hype moments, and I love like the idea of his character. But like you said, Bon is just such a way more well-developed and deep character. Everything from his childhood to his current relationship to the difference between his relationship with Elaine and Meliodas and him having to try to make sacrifices. That one scene where, like you said, where he goes to he destroys Melaskula's hearts and makes the choice to try to save his friend, even though that might be kind of counteracting the fact that Elaine just got revived. Oh, it was so good. It hurts me to do this because I'm a man. I praise the sun, but I'm gonna have to vote for Bon.
Well, I'm still laughing that you called him his childhood raccoon, and then immediately after that said it was a very touching scene. That was very cool. But yeah, if you've seen my Bon video, I'd say some of my favorite videos I've ever made was one on Bon and one on Escanor. And so this matchup is pretty insane. And I love both characters, but Bon, I really relate to Bon on down to a really deep level. He's one of my favorite anime characters of all time.
Same.
I vote for Bon.
Awesome. Glad you guys made the right choice.
Ooh, this next matchup is also very, very hard. It's starting to get serious. In those first rounds, we had fucking Hawk versus Elizabeth and then Hawk versus Mael. Bon versus Howzer. Solid matchups. But Mael versus Meliodas now. Oh my god. This is very hard for me.
By the way, my top 4 characters in the series: Meliodas, Bon, Escanor, and Mael. Not in that order necessarily, but those are my 4 favorite characters.
Yeah, same here, you bastard. Stop copying me.
Honestly, add Merlin, and that's a top 5, and those are my top 5.
Now, for me, my 5th would probably be King, but
Yeah, I don't really like King that much.
My 5th might even be Derieri, to be honest.
Clearly a man of culture.
But Yeah, so in terms of the order, for me, it's probably Bond, Meliodas, and it's a very close between the two. Sometimes it shifts, and then Mael and Escanor.
So then does that mean you're voting for Meliodas, Animac?
Yeah, it does. Even though I love the fact that Mael is both a villain and a hero, and okay, the one thing I really love about Mael is how he was brought up as a goddess, hating the demons and wanting to exterminate them, right? So he has this thing, it's like he's not necessarily a bad guy, but he was constantly told that you should hate these people and you should want to destroy these creatures and you're superior to them, you're doing them a favor by killing them, and now he has to struggle against that. So he's really cool, but I mean, again, very cool character, top 4, but Meliodas also goes through so much development, so much struggle, so much torture, perseverance, you know, the duality of his demon nature versus his, you know, good, fun-loving nature. I love it, so I have to go with Meliodas.
Another video that I recommend, No One Understands Meliodas by Nux Taku.
I never did that one, but I have to get there.
What? No, you've definitely done one on Meliodas. I guess
I've done an OP analysis on Meliodas.
And you've also done one where like you talk about each of the sins, so it's probably that one.
Yes, that's the
Yeah,
one.
I
And
love
there's
how...
psychological.
Let's just pretend I don't make videos, Briggs.
I edit for Nux.
He edited that one of mine, so to be
guys, I
fair.
recommend this Nux video and that Nux video. I did a video called The Two Sides of Meliodas, okay? And it's a good video too, buddy.
I
Guess
like that
what?
video.
I haven't seen it, but I recommend it because you make pretty good content, dude.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Oh my god.
Thanks.
The roast's going back and forth today. What's happening?
I love you, bro. Also, fun fact, Animac at the time of this video just uploaded one on Bon. So, and you know how much he loves it, and you've been hearing him rant, and he honestly, me and Nux have been like memeing and like kind of giving our opinions, but Animac's been going hard with his like objective analysis, which is kind of what he does. I would definitely recommend checking out.
No,
his
yeah, I
videos.
recently uploaded that video, so I'm all fresh. I'm all fresh about actually looking into Bond's character, so that's why I'm super excited.
Yeah, so I'm also gonna vote for Meliodas. I think they're both great characters, but like,
Well, I'm always fresh in the Bond analysis because I rewatch my own Bond analysis like once a month. Because it's an epic video.
You are the hero of anime YouTube. You just think you're the greatest.
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean think? YouTubers are plentiful as grains of sand. No, I'm kidding.
I will become the god of this new YouTube.
Exactly. That's him. That's Nux.
The YouTube
Yeah,
where there's
I'm
no
a bit
you,
evil.
and it's more like Corptude.
Yeah, very sad.
Meliodas versus Bond in the finals?
I didn't vote yet. Hold on. I was gonna
Oh,
vote
I'm
for
sorry.
Mael over Meliodas.
Were you actually?
Yeah, I was actually. Mael, through much toil and strife, has become my second favorite character in the Seven Deadly Sins. And I like, even though personally, Meliodas is an amazing character. I love Meliodas entirely. I liked his training arc where he had to relive his Liz dying like time and time again. And that for me would be the pinnacle scene of Meliodas in the series. But what Mael went through to become Estarossa, to re-become Mael, I don't know. I personally like Mael more at this point.
I respect that, but I think that it's just because Meliodas' development is more fresh in your mind. I mean, Mael's development is more fresh in your mind. You've kind of forgotten the greatness of Meliodas.
That's true. Very well could be. Meliodas is an amazing character, but I don't know. You've
Well, no,
also
fair-
made some pretty epic Mael videos recently, which has helped me, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he is, like I said, he's in my top 4 already, and he's a relatively newer character when you think about it, but definitely a great character.
See,
so
but the thing is, for
Gilthunder.
me, I liked. Well, Brigo, I assume, votes for Meliodas, so
I
Mael
did.
probably loses. But another thing is, it's like look at him from Estarossa's perspective. When he's Estarossa fighting against Escanor, which is one of my favorite fights in the series, potentially my favorite. You have this guy who's at Estarossa with the power of hate, right? The sin of the commandment of love, right?
Yes.
So anyone who hates him is powerless, correct?
Yeah.
Now let's look at what we know from Galand, for example. Galand has the power of truth. So anyone that lies to him turns to stone, correct?
Yeah.
But if he himself lies, he also turns to stone, as we've seen with his fight against Escanor, correct?
Is he truth? Is that what it is?
Yes, he's truth.
Okay,
There was a little bit of a translation error the first time. It was love, and then it turned to truth, right?
Yeah, because I know he runs away from. So like he says he would never run away, but then he runs away from Escanor, and that's why he turns to stone, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at Mael, or Esteros as he's called at that point, he's a character that cannot hate anything. Like, Meliodas is the brother who he's loved his whole life, or at least he thought he did, and he killed him with his own 2 hands, like with his facial expression barely changing. As someone who harbored the commandments of love, he was suffering his whole way through as a demon, and then he comes back as Mael. I don't know, I personally love his character.
No, I love it too.
And the problem is, Animac, the guy whose videos I watch, and made some decent freaking videos on Mael.
Decent,
recently.
pretty good.
Yeah, I know. The
Freaking
glowing
videos.
praise, guys.
Yeah, well, in any case, I lose. Meliodas wins. I'm not upset because Meliodas is epic. Just had to say my Mael piece.
Yeah, fair.
So in the finals, we have Bon versus Meliodas, and a
The
good
best
farewell to
bros
Mael.
going head to head.
I know.
Yeah.
They're like, this is so hard because I've literally went from liking Meliodas and Bon the most in the whole series. I went like back and forth because they're both so awesome. Also, their friendship itself is one of my favorite friendships in all of anime. So this is a really tough matchup.
I vote for Bon.
Ooh, just comes right out of the race.
Can we
Okay,
just
Bon's
do
my
like
favorite character.
can we just do the cop-out thing and say they're both winners?
No,
No cop out.
absolutely not.
I
I'd
vote for both.
rather say Margaret's a decent waifu than have that happen, and I still won't.
All right.
She's a great waifu.
Honestly, this is pretty hard for me as well. So Nux, did you vote for Bon?
Bon, all the way.
At the very beginning, I feel like I didn't really see Meliodas as a deep character until like quite a bit later on. Like I knew something was going on with his whole demon side, or like we didn't even know it was a demon side, right? We just saw like this darkness and stuff coming out of his body, or his eyes changing color. So I knew something was up, but like it took a while. Like I really didn't like love Meliodas as a character until way later on. While Bon, pretty quickly within the first season, I fell in love, and like I loved both his sides like so much, both his like jovial side or like his really happy side, because maybe I related to him in that regard, drinking and having fun and calling Hawk his master and stuff like that, right? Or making fun of Meliodas' cooking. So I loved his fun side, but then as it got more and more into the deeper aspects of his character and like his relationship with Meliodas and Elaine and like his depression and all that, like he literally like let himself be captured and didn't move for however many years within the dungeon. You saw his epic beard grow, and like you could see he was going through a lot, and then he comes out like super happy seeing Meliodas. So you know he's hiding something, and we really get to see like him completely develop as a character, and we get to know every aspect of him. I think I'm just ranting right now, but I'm gonna have to vote for Bon. I think Meliodas is deep as well, and I like his. Does anyone else think it's kind of a cop-out that like he's literally immortal and that was supposed to be a curse?
No, I thought that was pretty cool.
Like I understand the idea of like perpetual like immortality, and that in combination with Elizabeth's curse as well is kind of like torture, but like you made the guy immortal.
Yeah, well, he also possessed. Well, you haven't read the latest chapters in the manga, so.
I don't know. I always saw that as like, oh, I don't really feel that bad for them, even though I feel bad for them. Like you get to see your love of your life over and over again, and you can't die.
No,
Well,
but
I highly suggest you read the latest few chapters in the manga.
Okay, well, but anyway, either way, I like Bon more. But I
Also,
just wanted to point out one thing that I was kind of like,
Briggs, there's the 3-day thing that you're forgetting.
Right.
the 3-day thing with Elizabeth. Yes.
Yeah. So that's not pleasant. Anyway, at the end of the day, I also have to go for Bon for the simple reason that I wish we knew more about Meliodas before he fell in love with Elizabeth, because I feel like that must have been like a watershed moment, because he was apparently, known as the most ruthless demon, the strongest demon, and somehow he came to fall in love with Elizabeth and completely change. So I wish we knew that. Like it feels like a bit incomplete because of that.
I agree with you there.
Whereas with Bon, his development has been so complete, and Bon's struggle between like the two people who know him best and love him best, Meliodas his best friend, and Elaine his love, and his struggle to like decide, should I kill my friend to bring her back because I feel guilty for her death and I can't go on like this? Oh man, so good. So yeah, 100% Bond's my boy.
Ooh, Bond took all 3 votes in the finals. Bond is my favorite character, so I'm very happy. I think Escanor is actually my second favorite character, but I would say that Meliodas is technically a better character. So Bond wins it all.
Can I just say that the whole time, Briggs, you were and Animac, you guys were on your little Bond rants. I was holding back from interrupting because we're on Google Hangouts and it sucks with the interrupting. But I passed up so many good opportunities. Animac says, Meliodas and Bond, this is hard. And I was like, yeah, it's hard. And then we had...
I thought you were going to say something like analytical.
I was trying to hold myself back. You have no idea. And then Briggs like, I always knew there was something up with Meliodas. I was like, yeah, something's up with Meliodas. But yeah, in any case, I also happy to say that Bond wins with 3 votes. Very cool, fam squad. Very cool.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I'm very happy with the way this tournament turned out. Their links are down below. They both make fantastic 7 Deadly Sins content. We've mentioned it throughout this video. I would check them both out. Links down below. And just like that, I will see you guys all next time. Subscribe for more epic bracket royales and Shinpaku.